The game set up. Oh, 100%. That's what I did yesterday too when I saw Velasquez pitching. Kim's at third. I love Kim. It kind of seems like the Padres have given up the season if you're not going to play all your starters with 10 games left. Especially against Webb. Webb's been like a Cy Young caliber pitcher as of late, so who knows? I don't think he's injured. I just think they're using it as a rest day. Doesn't make the most sense just because, we are struggling to make playoffs. You kind of need to win these games because if not, you probably fall back another game to the Cardinals. We're already 6 games back, so I don't think Machado's injured. I think they've kind of just given up on the season. And 2, we probably just needed a rest day. Haven't seen anything he's injured, playing with injury. I think his shoulder's fine. That might be the only thing of concern, but I don't think he's injured. Weathers did look good yesterday. It was great to see. Finally working back. But he didn't walk anyone. That's good. Yeah, the 2 strikeouts, 3 innings. That's really good for him. Let's see. The lineup today is I like Frazier leading off. Cronenworth's fine at 2. You have Hosmer hitting 4. Don't necessarily agree with that. Profar, I think you have to hit Profar 2. I don't like him in the 5 spot. How's Grish been doing his last 7 games? Let's see. Still 4 for 20. Yeah, you kind of have to give up on the team this year. They've had a really, really hard fall from great. It was not a graceful fall. A lot of things went wrong. If you look at like the amount of days each player has spent on the IL, everyone combined, it was like 2,400 days of players on the IL. Padres was not good. The next team I think had 1,500, which still a lot of different makeup there. This year just went every way. It went really good at the beginning of the year, but yeah. It's one of those things where you suck at this year. Hopefully all the pitchers don't get injured again. That was our main thing, man. When the pitchers were healthy, they were inconsistent, and when they were starting to do consistently good, they got injured. It was one of those things that you can't really help it. You got Clev go last injury. You had Lamet not opt in for surgery, said he can rehab it. Injured his elbow again, and then they continued to use him as a starter, which I disagreed with. The one time he got his injury, you should have just shut him down and put him in his bullpen. He missed a lot of time there. Darvish and his injuries and the lack of sticky substances that may or may not have helped him, gone. He hasn't really made the bounce back. Snell started to come on, then got hurt. Paddock started to finally turn things around too, then he got hurt. Musgrove's been the only one. I would say Joe Musgrove for team MVP. I still think you have to give it to Tatis. I think the season is over. So the thing with Abrams is if he has a really healthy rehab and he comes into spring training and he gets hot against the MLB pitching, I still think they send him down to either AA or AAA for like the first few weeks to a month. If they do not sign anyone over this offseason to play outfield, they might force him to play outfield because you do have Cronenworth at second or first. If you get rid of Hosmer, you can move him to first, and then you can throw Frazier out in left field. But it kind of depends on what they do in the offseason. Right now, I think he's going to stay in the minor leagues for at least another half a season. They probably won't bring him up until like after the All-Star break of next year. That depends on how spring training goes too. So if they get rid of Hosmer, I think he can be up after like the first month because he might just be a better overall player than Frazier. And Frazier would probably just go and play left field, which after having a whole offseason to get adjusted to the outfield, no reason why you can't play a solid left field. I do think so. Getting everyone healthy is the main thing. Our rotation, if everyone is healthy and the MLB does something with the whole sticky situation and add a new substance that pitchers can use to just grip the ball better, because after that we saw ERAs across the entire league. If they do something about that, and if the NL implements a DH, I can see the Padres being a championship team. If not, it might be a little more difficult because you're going to have Darvish, you're going to have Caratini playing at least once every 5 days. Then you promote Campusano, who's killing it in AAA and deserves to get brought up. But then after that, you're just like, can we carry 3 catchers on the team? You have Hosmer, that's kind of like a hit and miss bat. If they do something about the sticky situation and the DH, I think the Padres are, because you can have Campusano hitting there. You don't have to have the pitcher hit because our pitchers aren't good hitters. You can keep the pitchers in there. You don't have to make sudden changes like, oh my God, this guy's dealing through 5 innings, but his thing's coming up to he's coming up to bat. Do we want to change him out because that might be our only chance to score? That's something I think they do in the offseason. I think people go to Driveline to help them out, and I think that might help Gore out. Hopefully it does. We'll see. Campusano to first. I don't think you can put Campusano at first just yet. I think he's the younger guy. I think you get more concerned with how Nola's been injured more when he's been catching, other than the one time he got hit in the hand. He fractured his fingers. He had the knee sprain he was dealing with. If you do get rid of Hosmer, I think you put Nola at first, or you put Profar first, and then you DH Nola. Or if you get rid of Hosmer, you can even put Myers back at first. We've seen that Myers is a considered Gold Glove first baseman, but most likely Cronenworth moves to first, Frazier or Abrams plays second next year if Hosmer's gone. Campo is probably going to be DH, and they're probably Campo and Nola will split time. If not, you still have Kim, who can also play, I think, pretty much every infield spot pretty well. And having the DH will probably get him more reps, which is a good thing because we've seen him. He's had some really good stretches of where he's been a really solid hitter. He just doesn't get the playing time that he needs because, 1, he can't get sent down to the minor leagues, and 2, we don't have a spot for him to play really, and that's where the Frazier deal also kind of backs up everything a little bit more. You're paying Kim all this money, and you can't really do anything about it. Let's see, the White Sox just clinched the AL for the first time since 2008. The Brewers are doing what they need to do. The Brewers are winning 5-1 against the Cardinals. That's good for us. That game doesn't matter for us. Braves, Diamondbacks. That could matter depending on how well the Reds play the Pirates. Who are the Reds playing? Or do they not play today? Oh, wait, no. Reds play the Nationals. Corbin versus Castillo. That will probably go for the Reds. I really want to see Hosmer traded in the offseason. I don't think he's going to. But then him, I don't think you can really trade. Probably just minor leaguers. I don't think we really need to trade for a big name or big brand player. I think we're fine as is. It's just making sure everyone gets healthy, hiring more coaches, getting rid of Tingler are top priorities. If anyone, I think the only thing that we do need is a left fielder. I don't think you need to tear up the farm system. I don't think you need to trade for one. You can sign one probably as a stopgap until Hassel or a minor leaguer gets there. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Well, they are baseball cards. There's only one missing in the middle. We just haven't filled that one out yet. And then we have the guys up on the wall over here. My uncle's a Dodgers fan, so they're all Dodgers players over here. We got Snyder, Wills, Koufax, and Moon up on the wall behind me. I think Tingler's gone after the season too. However, it is entirely up to Preller. Preller, or ownership said, you know what, Preller, this one's on you. If Tingler stays or goes, it's entirely your decision. We're not going to force you to do anything. So it's like a 70-30 chance that Tingler stays. Kyle Schwarber is a left fielder. He might ask for a lot of money, though. We already have a lot of money tied up in Hosmer, Myers, Tatis, and Machado. I would prefer not to sign anyone. I would try to look towards an organizational piece that would fit left field. It's kind of hard to spend money when you want to save money, so you can these guys coming up from the minor leagues to play. I like Starling Marte, but it's a matter of what type of money he wants. He's a really good player. You can probably get him for a 2-year deal, but he's going to probably ask for like 12 to 15 million a year because he's hitting over 300. He plays all outfield spots really well. He can steal bases. He's not bad with runners in scoring position. He's a good leadoff guy. He's a solid arm. He does a lot of things well, so he'll probably ask for a lot of money. And I don't think I want to spend that on a 32-year-old outfielder. That's what I think too. I think if Tingler to the front office, accountants to me, that's pretty good. I don't know if you can move Tingler. I think you just need to move on from Tingler in general. He's too much of a yes man, Preller. You need someone that will have some difference of opinion. Okay, that was a good highlight. All right. Is that 7 pitches for one batter? Right. Hey, we need a back end. Well, and we have Clev. We have all the starters in the world. It's just they're all hurt. We lost Mortejon at the beginning of the year, who can start. I think he's going to get pushed back to a bullpen role. I really hope he does. He makes it through about 60 to 70 innings before he really hurts his arm. That's perfect for a bullpen. You have Paddock. You have Snell. You have many guys on the IL that can start. You have 4 starters on the IL right now. Everybody just likes Nick Castellanos. They really want to see him in a Padres uniform. They just want him. We need back-end pitchers. We also have a lot of bullpen pieces hurt. We have Castillo hurt. We have Winginter hurt, which I don't know if you consider him a back-end guy. You have Prom hurt. You have Keone Keller hurt. You just have a lot of guys hurt that come next year, they'll be fine. Pagan, Stammen, and Velasquez. So I don't think Stammen's going. They love Stammen back there. They consider him like to be a dad of the bullpen and kind of just carry a lot of information with him that I've heard pretty good for the team. It's outside of like a few outings that he's been pretty solid this year. So I wouldn't be the happiest if he stayed, but I wouldn't be mad if he left either. If we had got Gallup to trade, I think we might be in the same position still. though you get rid of Hosmer, which I think isn't a plus in itself. But let's check Gallo's last 30 games, because I don't think he's been the greatest hitter. He is an upgrade defensively. Offensively, he just brings more power to the position, but he also, let's see. I wouldn't be upset Stammen being a bullpen coach. I would not be upset at that. Where is he? Do you have him in the outfield? He's a right fielder. Let's see. I think what they do with Weathers is that I really hope they implement a 6-man rotation. If not, he's coming out of the bullpen again. And what they do is they have either Gore at the 5 or 6 spot, and then they just have them kind of piggyback off each other to kind of save arms. You really don't want Ryan Weathers dealing with dead arm again. Every time he deals with dead arm, he's out for like 3 weeks, and it's kind of happened the last 2 years. I wouldn't say almost 3 years. He didn't deal with it last year, one, because of the shortened season. He dealt with it in 2019, and he wasn't right for 3 weeks. We saw it again this year, so it's kind of a concern seeing him start being so young, getting dead arm so often. So I really rather have him in an extended bullpen role. Like I said, I think him and Gore, if they combine together for a full game at the 6 spot or even a 5 spot, I would be happy with that. I think the Padres need to do more of that, save the young guys' arms. It's a full season. It's not a 60-game season. You can't just throw a rookie out there and hope that they can pitch 200 innings in a game or in a season. You gotta somehow monitor that. And with all the guys coming off injury too, we saw it this year. Our guys are not really capable of handling 162 games without getting hurt. Darvish is getting old. Musgrove's in his prime right now, so he can do it. Lamet has a wonky elbow. Snell, unfortunately, had a groin injury, but he was out before. Oh, that was COVID or an illness. Paddock has been hurt. He's already had Tommy John. You don't want him to go through that again. You need to do something to extend, one, your starting pitcher's health and their longevity throughout the season, and the bullpen. And the best way to do that is the 6-man. Sure, your ace doesn't get the ball every 5 days, but you need to do something about that. So looking back on Gallo, his last 15 have been really solid. He's hit 268, 367, and 805 slugging. Let's look at Hosmer, and I guess then we can decide if it would have helped us or not. Because he's still hitting right around his career average, which can't be too upset. Hosmer has just had a very similar 302, 362, 419. The only thing Hos has done is, one, he's not as fast and he doesn't play as good defense, and you probably get rid of the contract. That's the only thing. I really hope they do that. I hope Lumen is a bullpen piece. I think he makes a great closer. He's got electric stuff. You need to put him in that closing role. You can get rid of Melanson, or you can make him a setup man. You have all the talent in the world. You got Steven Wilson down there. You got a few other guys that in the minor leagues that could be potential impact relievers, and you don't need to spend the money. So I really hope Lamet is a bullpen piece from now on. The Padres have really done that man wrong with his injuries. Yeah, that's the one thing. The Padres have mismanaged his health severely. When he first injured his elbow, they didn't get an MRI on it. They just said, oh, it's elbow inflammation. He'll be fine within like 10 days. They should have got the MRI. They should have saw if anything was wrong with the elbow, and they should have seen if there was a partially torn ligament or anything, because he didn't get Tommy John again. He went to go the PRP therapy, which it seemed to work, but then after that, they still try to make him a starter. So that's on the Padres mishandling that. I think he'll be fine after rehab and everything. He might go through PRP again this offseason. But also, he's got to get used to coming out of the bullpen. It's a little bit different mentality when you come out of the bullpen versus starting. He has to get used to getting up later in the game, facing teams when It's just a little different. I think after an adjustment period, he'll be fine. That's a website to bring up the Mets a lot. Frazier leading off with a hit. That's good. Lead off double. That's pretty solid. Frazier's finally coming around. It's been pretty solid as of late. I don't know why Tingler's hitting him cleanup, though. He's not a guy you hit cleanup. I think Tingler managed this part right. You start Frazier at leadoff. You need a guy to get on base, and Frazier gets a lot of hits. I mean, he barely hits the ball out of the infield on a line, but hey, he got a ground ball double. Baseball trade values. Man, Cronenworth needs to come back. He's been struggling a little bit too. Let's look through some of these trades. Holy crap. We do not need Matt Olson that badly. You're not going to give up Campuselo, Elliott, Lamet, Mears, and Weathers for Matt Olson. That's a crazy deal. That's a no way in hell. And so the Padres would get Haniger and Kirby? No, absolutely not. You don't give up Abrams in any situation. Mordejon and Paddock, and you get Bass, Manea, and AJ Puck. I like Manea and Bassett, but I think you keep on the younger talent. It is hard to watch the games. I say it feels like they've almost given up on the season. I don't think they have, but it's one of those things where it doesn't feel like they have the fight in them to make it to the playoffs. I don't know if it's Tingler's fault. There's a lot of things going on in the dugout that we don't know. Tatis is obviously frustrated with a lot of things. Machado's frustrated. I mean, Hosmer's probably frustrated too with the whole way they handled the trade deadline, with possibly him being traded, probably not really talking to him, kind of him sitting the entire time waiting for him to be traded. I would be mad too. You saw him, he really tried to step it up before the trade deadline to show that he could be a piece that could stay. Kind of led him to playing some sloppy baseball, sloppy baseball, but sloppy base running. Try to stretch a few into a double when it's really not his thing. He isn't a leader. We've seen it, but it's hard to blame the entirety of the Padres' failure on Tingler. Because one, the injuries. You had Larry Rothschild as a pitching coach, which didn't help. You only have one hitting coach, which that doesn't help either when a guy's struggling. When you have like the whole team struggling at one point and they're all going to one guy trying to figure out what's wrong, it's a lot of film for one guy to watch and a lot of things he needs to figure out. It's too much for one guy to figure out. Padres need to hire more coaches. They need to do better at development. They need to do a lot of things. If they, yeah, that's just also kind of the age of social media. We've seen it happen in the NBA. We've probably seen it happen in football too. It's just kind of the age of social media where the players might not find out about something until, it legit happens. I remember, was it Puig last year or a couple years ago when they were yelling at him saying that, oh my God, you guys just got this guy. And he's like, who did we give up? And he's yelling out from the outfielder because he found out mid-game that they traded for someone. There's no really talking to the players what happens. And he was probably just trying to help Tingler. And Tingler was backing up Preller because it was against his old team. The whole Grand Slam, Diego, that was mishandled horribly by Tingler. You got to back up your team, and he didn't do it. Let's see. Do you guys think Haas is about to ground into a double play to end the inning with runners on first and second? 2-0 count. Let's see. Oh, no, pitching coach is coming out instead. Looks like Webb is a little wild right now. He might get walked. Webb is wild right now. I don't know what's happening. But see, this is the difference. Here is the difference between Rothschild and this pitching coach. Rothschild will never walk out there. It was very, very rare to see Rothschild walk out from the dugout, get up on those stairs, and actually walk and talk to the pitcher. Whereas when we had Darren Balsley, it seemed he was always talking to the pitcher, always trying to give him adjustments, something that he could do. Always something, but Rothschild never did that. Hey, no worry, Izzy. A wild pitch? Oh, well, now he can't ground into a double play at least. Tingler is to blame for a lot. He mismanaged the bullpen. He seems outclassed when he gets into extra innings. There's a lot of things that Tingler doesn't do well. But they also do need to address that the Padres do not have the amount of coaches that the other top teams have. I don't know if that's ownership not wanting to spend money, but you can't go through a hitting coach a year and say this is going to fix a problem. No. Obviously, the past 4 years, you've had a new hitting coach. That's not the problem. You need to hire more of them. You know, the pitching coach, Darren Balsley, was one hell of a pitching coach, probably one of the best there is. Losing him, we obviously saw the effects. They did not do anything well. They need to hire more developmental coaches. They need to do something with the minor leagues because they can't develop guys either. We've seen a couple guys get developed, but hey, Bochy said that he might go to the Padres if it was right. He did not turn it down. He said he might go to the Padres if there's an opening and if things get done his way, which you need a reunion with Bochy. Let me see if I can find it. Casavell tweeted that last night. Let me see. Where'd it go? I remember saying something about that. Let me see if I can find it. That might be a hard one. So it just kind of said that he's not going to retire, basically. If the opportunity's right, he will come. I think it would be a good thing. That just means Preller really has to move on from Tingler. Kind of has to be for sure. You can't be relying on if Bochy comes, Tingler gets fired. I think Tingler needs to get fired, so you just open yourself up to a more experienced manager at that point. Does it hit him? I think he can't be overturned. I don't think that can be overturned. There's no definitive call there. Is it? Well, then again, I remember watching one of the replays. As long as we don't fall below 500, they won't catch up. At least I hope. If we really fall to fourth place, Tingler has to get fired. There is no doubt that Tingler is fired if we fall below the Rockies. We got 10 games left. There are a couple of games behind us. Yeah, they awarded him first base. Wait, right? Yeah. Let's see. They're 5 games behind us with 10 games to go. They would have to play near perfect baseball to catch us. There's no way they catch us. It won't be as soon as the season ends. We probably won't know if we'll probably find out after the season if Tingler gets released, but they're going to still have to go through the formalities of doing managerial interviews where they bring in a bunch of different guys and they're going to get to the final candidates. It's going to take until at least December to hire a new manager if they decide to go that route. I think the Padres can. They just can't blow the start if Darvish throws another gem. They blew his last start. There's no way that they win if they blow Darvish's start. If Darvish has a really good start, which I think he will, he had a really good start to the game, then I think they win. Let's see if Grish adds on more right now. I give the Padres like a 60% chance they win this game. I think they should. Darvish is the better pitcher than Webb in all aspects. He's just been struggling. His last outing was really good. You don't have the best lineup in here, so you do have to capitalize with bases loaded in the first inning. Hopefully Grish comes out swinging here. He might get a pitch low and in. Hopefully he can drive it into a gap or at least get it out of the infield. Dude, if you hit it, you guys stay out of a double play here. So the thing is with the winter meetings, I really hope the Padres don't trade, try to trade everything again to fill the holes. We really need to develop games or develop players, if anything. Trading away star talent to get a star already established player that is owed a large contract isn't working. I think the Musgrove deal was probably the best thing they could have done. You trade for a pitcher that may be on the verge of breaking out, but you got to do something like that. You got to trade for a guy that's on the verge, or you think you can fix something for them to break out, and that's not on a major contract. If they do any trades, Kim Grand Slam, I would love to see it. That might be the spark that the Padres need, honestly. My game is also like 30 seconds behind because I'm streaming it because in Arizona, MLB TV's blacked out here. I'm like 30 seconds behind everyone else probably. So you guys will probably comment something before I see it. Let's see here. Because I'm still on Grisham's at bat, and it sounds like Kim's up right now. My whole thing with the winter meetings is really hope Preller doesn't get rid of the farm system to try to trade for either a star reliever or star outfielder and get a bunch of prospects. And you really can't. Yeah, I'm on 3-2. Sack fly? Okay. Okay, that just happened for me right now, the sack fly. Okay. Yeah, I will just have to make a trip out from San Diego. I can probably do that with Isaac. I wanted to do one with everyone, with Matt too, but it's kind of hard because we're all in different locations. So we would have to figure out a day in the week where all of us could go. Even then, I'm pretty sure me and Isaac would be down to go to a game. We'd probably have to find a day where Matt could fly out for a weekend or something. We've had this idea. It's just we couldn't find a week where all of us were available one time. Okay, good call, Blue. I thought he was going to call that on strike and squeeze Kim. Ooh. That is something I do want to do. Is I want to go to an opening day game, but I'll probably have to wait until I'm out of school for that. Just because my semester doesn't end until May. So after that, I'll be graduating college too, so I'll have more free time. It is 2-0 right now, 1-1 to Kim. Kim just hit. I did too. I thought it was going to be a home run, if not a double off the wall. I didn't think it was going to stay fair, though. It's 2-0. Kim almost hit a bases clearing double. Like 5 feet foul, if anything. One, two to Kim. Come on, let's go. Dude, he is missing wide. Something's up with Webb. Oh, I've always said that Kim brings a spark. Like anytime Kim does something positive, the whole dugout, the whole crowd, everybody loves Ha-Seong Kim. So anytime he does something good, it pumps up the team like there's no tomorrow. So like I said, if there's a DH, I really hope he's there. That's a good take. Come on, walk him. What's up after Kim? Oh, Caratini. No, we have not had Mark Grant as a guest before. That would be amazing, though. That might be a little bit harder to do. We can DM him to see, but that would be really hard to pull off. I don't think we had that much of a... Because I don't think his DMs are open, so that would be a little more difficult to do, but we would love to have him on as a guest. Come on, Kim. We had Jim Russell, though. He has his own little show. I like Kim at second. I like Crone at first. Then you probably move Frazier out to left field. That works too. But you have to get rid of Hosmer. That was a good foul ball. Come on, work that count. Even here, if the Padres don't capitalize, they leave runners on first and second. I think they want Mark Grant on the podcast. What did he do? I see Kim. What did he do? Hey, there we go, Kim. He's almost at 40 pitches too. If we can get Logan Webb out of this game, I think that is perfect. That just kind of shows that, hey, their approaches at the plate have been really good. I mean, Logan Webb has been really, really wild. He's been throwing really wide. Yeah, Caratini hasn't been hitting, but he is Darvish's personal catcher, so we can't really do anything about that. In this case scenario, it's like not having the DH kills us because Caratini is basically like a pitcher with more power. And other than the fact he can switch hit. Having the DH here would help us a lot because then you can just hit Caratini ninth and not have to worry about it because he's only hitting what 215. All right, they already got a guy warming up. That's what I like to see. Come on, get him to 40 pitches. We have Campusano that could come up next year, or there's a guy down in, I think, Double A. His name's Brandon Valenzuela. He's a lefty. Absolute unit when it comes to hitting, but I don't know. Oops. Let's see. I think he's in Double A. Lefty batter. He's not. He doesn't catch landed. That would be insane though. Oh no, he's in High A right now. But his let's see. He's only 20. His stats for this year, his slash line is 299, 393, 821. And 378 appearances. He has 113 hits, 7 home runs, 69 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. I don't think the stolen bases are really going to come into effect in the. Hey, Caratini. But even then, Nola's going to be fine. He's had the knee injury all year. That's kind of where his power kind of comes from. You know, it comes from the legs, and him having an injured knee probably doesn't help that. He hit a home run a couple of games ago. He's fine with the bat. He's such a great game caller. He blocks well. He probably throws guys out at an average to above average clip. So I don't think we have to worry about catcher too much next year. And especially if the DH comes, Campusano and Nola will split time so you can keep Nola fresh. Because my only concern with Nola is his injuries because, I mean, outside of a couple unfortunate ones, he gets knocked up back there and he's getting to that age where you kind of worry about his knees. You kind of worry about his endurance behind the plate. Come on, Darvish getting a knock here. I know Darvish can hit. I remember that one game at the beginning of the season where he hit like 2 over 100 miles an hour. I don't miss Hedgie. He was probably one of the worst hitting catchers I've ever seen. Nola should be gone. I think you need Nola. I don't think Nola's a really good bat. He's a great game caller. He's good at defense. When Nola's behind the plate, I feel really confident in what the pitchers are going to throw. Caratini calls a good game too. I think Nola calls a better game. Nola has a better bat. Nola's faster. I think Nola's better on defense. And Nola is an absolute monster with runners in scoring position. But as of right now, we can't play him at first because Hosmer's there. If the DH comes out, you can put Nola in DH and Campusano catching and flip-flop the two just so that they can get both reps behind the plate in case something happens to the other. But without the DH, Nola's stuck playing catcher. That was a good pitch. And Darvish is a pitcher. I wasn't expecting much there. I mean, I think that's what everybody wants, but as of right now, I think Nola's too valuable to the pitching staff to take him out, especially without a pitching coach there. And you have the bullpen coach there still, but I still think what Nola does for the pitchers is too valuable as of right now. If we get more pitching coaches and a really, really solid pitching coach this offseason, I'm okay with it. And I just think you kind of have to split time because Campy, one, hasn't really called a lot of games at the MLB level. Defense is, I think, far behind Nola's. We all say 2022. I think at least me, I think we've come to a consensus, me, Matt, and Isaac, that 2022 would be the year. I think Abrams can come up next year. I think Hass might be able to. Hassel absolutely killed it this year. Let me see where his final slash line was. Let's see. He didn't make it to Double-A, which was unfortunate, but a 302 average, 393 on base, and 863 OPS. Absolutely killer. And he finished off in high, really hot, and really, really hot too. I think he's going to be fine. No, Gore isn't in Arizona anymore. Yeah, I'm in Arizona. Gore. Did he have another start? I know he was scheduled for, I think, one more start. His last start outside of the first inning was really good. Let me see. I've been trying to find when his last start was. He's down below a ERA right now, so that's really good compared to what he was at the beginning of the year. Let's see. September 17th was his last start. He threw 4 innings, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The walks are concerning. The strikeouts are there. He limited the hits. The only thing is he's struggling with walks again, but he's done a good job working around them, and most of those walks might have come in the first inning. I can't go inning from the main game logs, but I think that was a perfect way to end off his season. I think Isaac's technically not in San Diego. He's technically in the Coachella Valley. So, but he is in California, though. He's just a couple of hours away. We all grew up in SoCal, so we all grew up Padres fans. Ironic. I think in my hometown, those two were like the only ones that were Padres fans, so we all just kind of got together and made this recently, actually. Mike Trout to the Padres would be legendary. However, that contract would kill the ownership. You'd have to have the Angels eat a significant portion of that because you can't have Haas, Machado, Tatis, and that contract. That is lethal. I think Ohtani stays with the Angels. I don't think he leaves. Playing next to Trout, you can't get rid of that. I don't think anybody has the capacity to turn Mike Trout. I don't think any farm system is good enough for that. You only say that right now just because Shohei is younger, but a prime Mike Trout is to be reckoned with. I don't think we keep Pham. I don't. He's had a really, really rough career with San Diego. I think it's time for him to kind of leave. He doesn't provide the defense. His bat's been lacking. Yeah, we did have a chance. That's because he wanted to go to a team where he could compete, and ironically, he went to the Angels. Not the Angels' fault that they don't have pitchers. They have Jared Walsh. They got Shohei. They got Trout. They got Rendon. They're only just missing pitchers. Yeah, neither of them are going to leave. I think Shohei stays there. One, he's the ace of the team. He's practically the face of the team outside of Trout. They have a really good team built around him. You saw last draft that they really wanted to handle the pitching situation. I think that's a really fun thought. I like Matt Olson. I don't know if the A's do that because one, the A's are a cheaper team. They are a small market team. They don't like to spend money on their players. They really don't. When Donaldson was near his contract year, they traded him. Okay, that's off the wall. Yeah, they would be World Series contenders if the Angels had pitching. They addressed it in their last draft for sure. They took a pitcher in every single round. But going back to that Olsen trade, I don't think you can do that unless the Padres eat a significant amount of Hosmer's contract and then send some top prospects over too, which I would not be with because they're probably going to ask for some really good players. Blue Jays are holding on for Vladdy for dear life. He ain't leaving anywhere. Vladdy's having one year, man. He's proving himself to everybody that doubted him the last couple of years. I knew he was going to be. His dad was saying that he could be better than him, and I was like, that's a really high ceiling. He's proven it. He may take the Triple Crown, which 10 games left, he might do it. Which sucks. He might take the Triple Crown and not win MVP. There we go, Frazier. Vladdy might win the Triple Crown and still lose MVP to Shohei. That's how special Shohei is. Ohtani's a special player. You can't get rid of him once you have him. And even if you try to trade for him, I don't think there's a team that is willing to give up what it takes to get Shohei. Because we saw the trade for Betts. We saw the trades for Scherzer and Trey Turner. It's going to be way more than that. Even to sign him, I think the Angels keep him. Yeah, I know. Time one of the game comes on, we're like, should we watch it? Yeah, we should watch it because we do this. We got to have some heart in the team. And then, yesterday, it was just one of those things. You're like, yeah, cool. We recorded an episode. I'm like, wow, let's hope Musgrove does good. And then I was like, oh, yay, Musgrove got the first batter out. I checked my phone again. Somebody had hit a solo home run. I'm like, well, I spoke too soon already. Trevor Story to the outfield. Depends on his contract. He's gonna want money. He's a really good player. They consistently label him a top 5 shortstop, and so he's gonna get top 5 shortstop money. Which shortstops make a lot of money because it's one of the more difficult positions, and it's one of the more premier positions to get a hitter out of. So I just don't see how you can spend that type of money while you still have Eric Hosmer on the team. I exclude Will Myers just because Will Myers has kind of been through had the roughest parts. And we've seen what a hot Will Myers can do. Eric Hosmer gets hot for like the first 2-3 weeks of season and then disappears. He doesn't have the glove. He kills us on defense. He kills us on offense for like months before he gets hot again. And he makes more money than Myers. There we go, Darvish. That's a fastball that we're used to. Good movement on the four-seamer. Got the edge. We needed that Darvish in July. We needed that Darvish in August, and we did not get that Darvish. Hosmer never really had a glove. He played on a World Series caliber team when Gold Glove wasn't measured by metrics as much. You know, they didn't really look at defensive runs saved, UZR 150. They didn't look at a lot of advanced sabermetrics until recently for defense. And so he played in a time where he was a good baseman on a really good team that made a legendary playoff run, came out of nowhere to make playoffs, made it all the way to the World Series. They won. And so they looked at that and they said, this guy's a gold glove first baseman. It's like with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter has a lot of gold gloves. Doesn't mean he's a good defender. You look at his career defensive numbers, and he's like one of the, I think, the worst in baseball. It's or one of the worst defensive players in baseball. It's also just biasy towards a player. Hosmer did a lot of good things with the Royals. They don't want to look at him in a negative light. Now that we look at it now, yeah, Hosmer's horrible with the glove. But looking back on the World Series run, his bat probably overcame the glove, and there probably weren't as many wild throws from that team as because we have a lot. Our left side of the infield have cannons for arms. Machado has a cannon. Tatis has a cannon, and he probably didn't play with guys like cannons like that at short and at third base on the Royals. What does Yastrzemski do? Yeah, that makes sense. But it's only the second inning. We still got a 2-run lead. Darvish is at less than 30 pitches with 2 outs. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He did hang that one, though. He hasn't been the same since the sticky stuff ban. His stuff kind of lacks the break that it used to. It doesn't drop as far. They hang more. That's down the heart of the plate. Nearly everybody would take that out. He struggles with that slider, getting it down. No! Okay. Come on, get it. It's foul. I love Myers. I really wanted to be on the team. I think he's just one of those guys that's good for the clubhouse. He's not necessarily a leader. He doesn't carry a lot of attitude. He's just a fun guy to be around. He's just really chill. Comes in, does his job. Doesn't take life too seriously. And I think you need one of those guys on the team. And two, when he's a really good hitter. He's just very inconsistent. Yeah, that kind of sums up the Padres' whole season. Padres all the way. You think they're going to go all the way. They're going to go win it all just for you to disappoint by coming up short. Yeah, Darvish is a man of many pitches, but hangs his off speed right now. Mm-hmm. Going into the bottom of the second. Let's get this. We've also abused Nabil. we throw Nabil out there so much for long inning relief, and he doesn't get the love that he deserves. He comes into some really, really crappy games to just hold it down in pitch innings. Yeah, Nabil may have given it up, but without Nabil, we'd be in a far worse situation. That's what I think too, Ace, having a whole offseason to kind of adapt to the whole sticky substance ban for the MLB to figure out what they're going to do with it, because it's obvious that the rosin isn't working. Let them do the sunscreen and rosin thing. If it doesn't add if it doesn't add spin rate to a ball, like obviously outlaw spider tack, obviously outlaw pine tar, but if it just allows grip on the ball and it doesn't change spin rate of any of the pitches, if it doesn't cause it to break more or less than it was before, but just mainly used for grip and location, I think it should be legal. The main thing I wanted to see this year is I wanted the Padres to make playoffs again and at least make it to the division series or the championship series, just so they can say they got there. Kind of take baby steps to making the World Series, because at least getting that far means they made it past to where they were before. It gets them all new experience, kind of used to the atmosphere, especially playing with fans in the crowd for the first year. I think it really would help them in the wild card and the division series. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to happen this way. They'll be fine, though. They'll be fine. Weathers did amazing yesterday. He didn't walk anyone. He may have allowed 2 hits. He struck out a couple guys. It was really solid all the way around. Liked what I saw. It looks like he finally made the adjustment. Maybe Rothschild leaving is what he needed. We'll see. Weathers usually is really solid for 2 or 3 innings. It's when he goes to the 4th or 5th inning, when he sees the lineup 2 to 3 times, is where he starts to struggle, because he gets wild around the strike zone. He won't land off speed for strikes. He won't strike people out with his off speed because they won't chase it. It's more of a consistency thing for Weathers. It's not that he's not talented. He needs to get better at controlling his pitches. Yeah, another ground out for Frazier. Not surprising. Come on, guys. Come on, crony. It would be the most Padres thing for them to get shut out after putting up 4 in the first inning. I'm going to knock on wood that it doesn't happen, but it would be the most Padres thing ever for that to happen. Matt Olmed, Joe DiMaggio, Eddie Matthews, Sean Bench. Wow, it looks like Webb's kind of figured it out. He's not hanging him. He's not throwing wide. He's starting to get him down right at the knees with that sinker. Padres are going to be in trouble. He's calmed down. They need to capitalize more. Come on, Tatis. Good take. That was a really good pitch. And what will Logan Webb do here? Oh, I thought he fouled that off. Well, it looks like Logan calmed down. Padres might struggle here. Though he's already at, what, like 50 pitches? Just fine. We'll be fine. What was that? Who do you guys got tonight for Thursday Night Football? You guys got Davis Mills and the Texans, or you think CMC is just going to run crazy and the Panthers are just going to win it all? I got the Panthers. I don't think the Texans are that good of a football team, but they've surprised me as of lately. I thought they were going to be completely garbage and pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Let's go back. Oh, as soon as I had said the Brewers were doing their job, they give up 6 in 2 innings. Well, the Cardinals are now winning against Brewers. So if we lose today, I think we might as well be eliminated. Because they're going to be 7 games back. You can't have that happen. Braves are winning. What's happening? Well, even then, it still doesn't matter because the Phillies are what? 4.5 games back. Even we have to win right now. We can't lose. If we lose, we're definitely not making playoffs. What little hope that we have of making playoffs will disappear if we lose today. Looks like the Cardinals are going to take it in a comeback win, going into the bottom of the air up 2 runs. Okay, that wasn't much of a hanger. You can get away with that. You can't just hang it much higher than that. That's where Darvish has been struggling. He doesn't really throw his off speed in the dirt anymore like he used to. Everything's up. Even when it's not up, it's barely at the knees, which can still get you in trouble with a good hitter. You can get away with it right now because it's a pitcher. There you go. Guys, got any more questions about anything? We can talk football. I don't know much about basketball. I can still talk about a little about basketball. You think that makeup game versus the Braves will matter? Unfortunately, as of right now, I don't think it does. Even though it might as well be like a guaranteed win. We needed the Cardinals to lose right now. And they just came back and they're up 2 against the Brewers. If the Brewers can come back and win, then I think it matters. But if the Cardinals win right now, no. If we win today, even if the Cardinals win, it doesn't matter because we're still 6 games back. If we win that one, we're 5.5 back, and then we still have to have the Cardinals lose at least 5 games when we win. And against our schedule, I don't see it really happening. I think our games against the Braves only really matter for the Phillies because the Phillies are kind of out of the running too. I think they're 4.5 back in the wild card, but they're only 3 back in their division. So if we sweep the Braves and take all those games, it just has a chance for the Phillies to make the postseason over us anyways. So it doesn't have a lot of implications for our season, but it has a lot to do with the Phillies. I just think the Phillies, though. I don't know who else is. Let me see. Because the Mets are 8 back in that division. So they're 3 games back. They're 4.5 in wild card. How many games do we play against the Braves? We got 4 games. Yeah, so it's basically, hey, do we want to let the Braves make it to the postseason or do we want the Phillies to make it to the postseason? And at that point, I think what you do is you Tatis have a great you split it 2-2. Hopefully Tatis goes crazy and hope that the Braves make the postseason over the Phillies, because then if the Phillies make it to the postseason, I think it robs Tatis's chances to win MVP. That would probably be best case scenario because, yeah, sure, you may have a losing season, but you finally have your MVP after how many years? So if you don't make the postseason, at least get the MVP. So what is that? 24 years? We haven't won an MVP in 24 years, so or 25. So hey, at least if we didn't make postseason, at least we can say we have an MVP. Oh, please don't collide. Oh, Jesus, guys. Reese Kinnear is missing. He is MIA. I have no clue where he's at. I legitimately don't. Instead of signing Vince Velasquez, we should have called up Kinnear to be a starter. We didn't. We sent him down to the minors. He's still not back up. I really don't know what happened to him. He's gone. The Padres never really gave him a starting chance. They let him go 2 or 3 innings at the most, send him down to the minor leagues to let him go 6 to 7 games. Oh, wait, he's pitching tomorrow? Really? I did not see that notification. Yeah, we should have definitely. I did not see that. Oh, wow. Kinnear versus the Braves. Oh, they called them up because they had the extra spot for the doubleheader. Okay. I think about that every day, though. We should have never traded Anderson Espinosa, Jake Marisnick. Jake Marisnick basically got traded to a team that had a chance at going to the playoffs for a top 10 pitcher or a top 10 minor leaguer in our system. And Marisnick's probably only played like 4 games in a handful of innings. Let's see. Espinosa finished off the year with a 4.19 ERA, 58 innings, and 80 strikeouts. But let's look at his last game pitched. Let's see. He's been going pretty crazy his last 5 games. Let's see. 3.2 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. That's a really good way to end off the year. Let's see. Let's go here. He had a 1.35 ERA in Double-A to end off the year. Oh, Nix. Jacob Nix had. He tried the same thing that Lamet did in the offseason. He tried the PRP therapy in his elbow, and it didn't work out. So he ended up having to have Tommy John a little after spring training, I believe. I don't see where he plays. He might resume the game just to go 3 innings, save our guys, because I think it starts off in the 5th. I think Tatis is going to stay at short. I don't think front office or Tingler wants to piss him off again. He obviously is a much happier person playing shortstop than outfield. He looks bored in the outfield. He's not happy there. You got to keep him at short. And I think Frazier, I think you have to include more as an infielder. I don't think you can count him as an outfielder just yet. Let's see, what inning do we start off tomorrow? Tomorrow we start off in the bottom of the 5th. So that's 4 innings of Padres pitching. Hopefully they let Kinnear go all 4. I doubt it. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that was another thing. I think Javi Guerra is going to be. He really needs the MLB experience. He has the stuff to succeed at the major league level. It's just him getting to that point. His stuff is there. Is his mentality there? Is his mechanics there? He has the fastball. He has the slider. He has the changeup. Can he just locate? Is the question for Guerra. Let's see. Yeah. The whole thing with Marisnik is like, I think it was when Myers was struggling a little bit, and it was like, you upgrade your right field a little bit, you get a better defensive glove, and he's fast. Myers is just as fast. He's probably faster than Pham. I wouldn't say he's bad, he's better than Pham, and he can only hit lefties. I guess that was an area of weakness, but man, you don't sign a guy just to hit lefties. We traded for a guy just to hit righties last year for the playoffs, and it didn't work. We saw the whole Mitch Moreland situation. It didn't work. The Bethencourt experience. That was amazing. We really thought we could find our Kenley Jansen. Bring back Yates. I think it depends on his health. I know he's been dealing with a lot of health problems. Didn't he just have Tommy John? Isn't he hurt? And it depends on what money he asks for, too, because he knows what he's capable of, and so does the league. He was the most dominant closer in baseball for a 2 to 3 year stretch. That just doesn't go unsigned. We saw it with Craig Kimbrell. They took a chance with Craig Kimbrell. They still paid him money, but hey, it's probably one of the best Cubs signings. As much as I like Brad Hand and what he did for the Padres, he scares me when he's on the mound. He absolutely terrifies me when he's on the mound because he walks so many people. When he was our closer, I was like, "Oh, cool, we're gonna win this game because Brad Hand there." Brad Hand would like walk two or guys in a row, give up a single, load the bases, and then strike the next three guys out. Sergio Romo, if he takes a cheap contract, yeah, I'll take it. At this point, you're looking for a couple of cheap bullpen pieces that could be an impact and plug in at any point of the game. So you need a guy with experience. You need a guy like Romo. You can say Yates, but I think Yates is going to be a little more expensive. Does anyone remember that opening day against LA where Adrian Gonzalez hit like 6 home runs in 3 games? I do. I want Lamet as a closer. I 100% want Lamet as a closer. He needs to get those. He needs to get those reps in as a closer now. I don't care if we're losing. He needs to come in and pitch into the 9th inning just to get the experience. The only reason we didn't bring back Rosenthal was because he wanted like $12 million a year, and we weren't going to pay him that. I think the Royals did. He's not worth that kind of money. And I think it was a 2-year deal, so he's going to be there for another year. See, you can. The thing we've noticed, or the thing I've noticed with Fernando Rodney, it's like every even year he pitches phenomenally, but every odd year he struggles. Like when we had him in 2016, he was an absolute unit. He, I think, had a 0 ERA. The Marlins were going to make the playoffs when they had Stanton, when they had Ozuna and Yelich. So that's when we got Chris Paddock, I think, in the 1-on-1 trade. Oh, okay, so that was the deal. I like Roberto Osuna, but let me see. I know he struggled for a little bit. Did he get accused of something? Am I thinking of something? He's pitching on the Astros now. Wait, no. When was that article? He is playing in Mexico right now. Let's see his stats. Let's see right here. Why can't I find his numbers anywhere? He might be hurt. Yeah, that's what I saw too. He was with the Diablos from Mexico. I can't find his stats either, so I don't know if he's. There we go. Good household profile. Like I said, we have Steven Wilson, who's a phenomenal athlete. Or I wouldn't say phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal reliever. We have Kevin Kopps, who's basically MLB ready. I want to see what those guys have. I don't want us to keep spending money on veteran players that could down year and just get hurt. So I think having those two come up and replace Melanson and maybe Palm, because Palm's getting old. He's hurt. He just had Tommy John. I don't know how that's going to affect his arm, what he's going to do with that. But I think Kopps and Steven Wilson could come in and shut it down. Dude, I'm glad Profar's back. When he wasn't on the team, it was like, who is going to have the patient approach at the plate? Don't even talk about that, because you know they will do it. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. Arthur, you're right, but I thought they were going to do it already. I mean, they already signed a washed-up Jake Arrieta and Vince Velasquez. What's stopping them from bringing up a 44-year-old pitcher? Come on, Grish. He is throwing 95, but so is Steven Wilson. Cops doesn't throw that hard, but he's got the off speed to make up for it. It's like one of those things. It's like, why? Yeah, he may be throwing 95 at 44 years old, but at one point does that stop? And two, at what point do you stop signing these older guys just to take place of your younger guys that you can't develop and bring into a league? We haven't really had a reliever come up from the minor leagues and be incredibly successful. Jose Castillo would have been that guy, but he's been hurt. We traded Adrian Andreas Munoz. Winginter struggled, and now he's hurt. Guerra struggled. Weathers is probably really good. We've seen Weathers be really good out of the bullpen. What else is on the injured list? Let's see. Let's see. Baez was all right. Diaz is all right. You can say Pierce Johnson, but even then, we signed him out of Japan after he reinvented himself. That's it. And all those guys struggled. I am too, but unfortunately, that hurts. Unfortunately, Munoz also got injured. He had Tommy John, so he's going to be gone for at least a year and a half. And I prayers up to that guy. Hopefully, he's doing good, and he doesn't have any setbacks or delays. But who knows how he's going to be after Tommy John? We've seen pitchers come back and be better, but we've also seen pitchers come back and be worse than they were before. Tommy John is just one of those things where you don't know how a pitcher is going to react to that surgery. We'll see. I don't know why you trade a guy that can throw up to 104 miles an hour. I don't get it. I don't get why you trade Kyle Quantrill and Josh Naylor. I don't get why you trade Franmil Reyes. We're going to do an episode on that, don't you guys worry. Where we go back and look at all the trades through probably just 2020 and 2021. Maybe bits of 2019. All right, we traded these guys. Here they're going now. Here's how they're doing. And then how are they doing that we got for them? It's going to be an interesting episode. And we'll see how many trades Preller whiffed on and how many he hit on just through these last couple of years. So, though we will wait to probably make a consensus on whether or not it was a failed trade or a good trade, just because we haven't seen everything up with Snell. He had a down year, but he started to come back. He was doing really well at the end. Clev got injured, so we can't judge that one fairly. So we'll see. I've heard he's quite the polarizing player in Boston. Either people will love him for a minute and then they'll really hate him. He still bounces up and down between the minor leagues and major leagues. But if you want to talk about an ex-Padre doing good on the Red Sox, it's definitely Hunter Renfroe. Let me see if he's still on the roster. Not Renfroe, Cordero. Because he's been bouncing up a lot. Yeah, he's currently not on the 40-man roster, Cordero. Let me see. Because he'll be really clutch every now and again. But he's hitting 189, so he has his moments where he looks like he's going to break out, but then he goes back to struggling. Renfroe, on the other hand, has just been absolutely killing it. 262, 823 OPS, 91 RBIs, and great defense, man. His arm shines in Fenway. Preller's got to have... he might have a golden sombrero if we're basing it off the last year's trades and this are for the 2020 winter meetings and the trade deadlines. If you want to look at that, he might have a golden sombrero, but he did hit on Musgrove. But you can argue that the Darvish and Caratini trade didn't really help us this year. You can argue that the Snell trade helped as much as it hurt. You can say that the Clev trade hurt us more than it helped. You can say the Marisnik trade. You can say the Daniel Hudson trade. Who else can you say? I think that's basically it. So you can probably get a golden sombrero out of that. Yeah, Verdugo. I was surprised the Dodgers got rid of him. I was really happy that they got rid of him, but I was like, damn, they're going to regret that. Verdugo is going to be a great player. And that's a shift. That was a bad pitch right over there. Has it only been 55 days? Feels like it's been so much more than that. Let me look up free agents real quick. All right. We got Posies, and those are all catchers. I heard Salvi's a free agent, isn't he? We'll see. We got Freeman, about Gurriel. Crone would probably be a good option for first. You don't need Sasugo. Travis Shaw might not be a bad pickup. You don't want Pujols. You don't want Derek Dietrich. You don't want Frazier. You want maybe Danny Santana. But it depends on what he wants. Simeon was absolutely stellar the second half of the season. Josh Harrison would be a good guy to pick up in left field. He probably won't cost that much. He plays all the spots. He plays it pretty well. He may not hit a lot of home runs, but he hits a lot. Anyone else? Ramirez is a star. Not as a star. You won't get Seager. Those are all third basemen, though. You don't want any of those. Left field, Mark Canha might be a good option. I think Profar is going to stay. I know he's a free agent because he can opt out. Schwarber, you can go McCutchen. McCutchen might be a pretty cheap option. Bring a lot of leadership. Just a good bat, good personality. Think he'd fit great in San Diego. Maybe Jake Lamb. Jake Lamb absolutely kills us when he was playing. You don't want John Jay. You can do Marte. I wouldn't do JBJ. I would do maybe Ender Inciarte in left. Those guys you can get cheaper. But Marte is going to be 33, or he is 33 right now. So you really have to be careful. Castellanos is going to get a big contract. I don't think Conforto is leaving. Maybe Soler. But hey, Soler. You can probably get him for cheap. If you really want a power bat, I would go there. Gregory Polanco might not be bad. Not the biggest fan of Eaton. And let's look at starting pitchers. We have Gossman, Scherzer, Kershaw, Morton. Those are going to be expensive. Rodon's going to be expensive. No. Merrill Kelly might not be a bad option. No. Stroman, no. Robbie Ray might not be a bad option to pick up. Danny Duffy might not be bad. Kluber would be a really good option, though. I don't think the Yankees are going to let him go. Aaron Sanchez would be good. Maybe Archer. I feel he's kind of washed now. Let's look at relief. Raciel Iglesias is going to be a free agent. Graveman would be a great signing. He might cost a little more, though. He would be a shutdown option. Pierce Johnson's going to be – so we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 guys that are free agents in the bullpen. There's a lot of free agent pitchers. Keone Kela. So if you get rid of those guys, you let those 3 guys walk and you sign Kendall Graveman, I think that's perfectly. According to this article, Freeman is a free agent. Dietrich is like the epitome of swag, but he's still probably an upgrade with a glove over Haas, so that's fine. I want a solid lefty, 3 spot to split Tatis and Machado. Yeah, you always want a solid lefty. I think about that a lot. How we could have picked up Lance Lynn and be really, really solid. The man hasn't got hurt. He's just an absolute unit. He throws gas. He throws a bunch of different pitches. They all work. And we definitely messed up by not trading for Lance Lynn. There we go, Darvish. Let me look back at that deal. He might have been an expensive trade. Let's see. They had moved Dane Dunning, the number 5 prospect, and Avery Weens for only 1 year. That wasn't too bad. That honestly, So at the time, it was a top 5 prospect and then their 6th round pick from the year before. That's not expensive. Then again, they only had him for the year, so they re-signed him during the offseason. That was a great move by the White Sox. Wow. I thought he was going to pull the trigger too. I thought that's why I thought Gallo was a guaranteed to come to the Padres, and he didn't pull the trigger on either one. Well, he got beat out by the Yankees, and he might have just gotten beaten out by the White Sox too. I'm not too sure what happened with the White Sox part. We'll see. Because Padres could have had a way better offer than that in line for Lance Lynn, but did they think they did need the help? Or did they just not think it was worth it at the time? I don't remember too much of that. I like Marte a lot. Like I said, it's just I think it really requires how much money is he going to be in left field, and do you want to spend that money or do you want to save it? Do you try to go to Hosmer first to see where everybody can play? Do you try to move Abrams to left field when he's fully healthy? There's a lot of questions there. That's exactly what I think. Yeah, I'm Preller messed up at the deadline bad. I don't know what he was thinking with some of those trades. I don't think it helps that Ken Rosenthal reported the trade too soon, and it kind of pushed the Dodgers to be like, damn, we really need to get this done now and make a better offer. The Daniel Hudson trade was Hudson's been horrible since he's gotten here. That whole Rosenthal kind of messed up everything, and I feel like it really, really messed up the Padres' chances at getting Scherzer. There's no other way of saying it because we probably won't find this out for years to come. But if there was a deal that was agreed upon for the Padres and they reported it soon, it just gave the Dodgers all the more power in the world to make a better offer and get exactly what they wanted. We did overpay for Hudson. We thought at the time it looked like a really good trade because Hudson had like a 2 ERA. Sure, he was on the COVID list. That just meant, wow, we have this guy who hasn't thrown a ton of innings. He's doing really good this year. We saw him do really good in the World Series and in the playoffs. We'll be fine. He's going to do good for us. Then he came off the COVID list and that sucked. I don't think there was that was rough. Yeah, that's exactly what the Dodgers did. And Scherzer has probably been one of the best trade acquisitions at a deadline probably ever, especially with the way he's been pitching. The Dodgers might run a repeat just because of it. And that's minus Turner. That's just Scherzer. Turner himself just is unfair. I think Turner, was it yesterday, took over for the league leader in hits over Frazier. So that just shows you how much better that offense got. Cliff Lee on the Phillies was impressive. I do remember that. The Phillies had a nice little rotation going on over there with Cole Hamels, Cliff Lee, and who was the other guy? There was a third guy. I do remember that when Ryan Howard was at first base. That was a pretty good run for the Phillies back then. Because didn't they have they had Jimmy Rollins and Utley too. Yeah. The Dodgers had Hamels, but I think during one of his games in the minor leagues or like in his first game or like bullpen session, he got hurt and he's out for the year. My three most missed former Padres from all the ones that we've traded away: Framil, Quantrill. Who would be the third? I really liked Patino, but I don't count him. We haven't seen too much of him yet. I just really liked him because he was a homegrown talent. Framil was a heart and soul. I like Quantrill as a pitcher. Probably Trey Turner. I was really high on Trey Turner back when he was a minor leaguer. I thought he was going to be the Padres solution to. Are we going MLB players or are we going minor league players? Because if we do major league, it would probably be Framil, Quantrill, and Naylor. Because I really like Naylor. I was really high on Naylor too. Minor leaguers, Trey Turner's on the top of my list. I was really upset when we traded Trey Turner. I love Will Myers, but I was really upset we got rid of Trey Turner then. When Rizzo got traded, I didn't know because I was little back then, so I didn't follow the Padres as much as I do now. But Rizzo was probably a really fun to look at back then because we got Andrew Cashner. I liked Andrew Cashner. I thought he could do really good. He was just very inconsistent. He was always injured. I forgot about Luis Urias. Never mind. Urias is in that top three. I love Luis Urias. I thought him and Tatis were going to be the combination at second and short. I thought they were going to be that duo for years to come. Oh man, I'll let you say. The Brewers lost today, so that's wonderful. 250, 782. That's pretty good. I think he has more potential than that. He'll probably hit his stride next year. But 21 homers for a second baseman is really solid. They did give up on him way too fast. Both Urias and Rizzo. I remember the whole thing with Rizzo was that they didn't think he could be the power hitting first baseman that they wanted him to be. I was upset when they got rid of Luis Urias. You don't give away that potential hit tool that he had. You get though we got Grisham and Davies. Davies ended up being better than Lauer, and Grisham right now is definitely not better than Luis Urias. Luis Urias can play all over the infield and hit 21 home runs. That's something They do give up on a lot. That's just because, one, they don't take the time to develop. If they're not good straight out of the gate, the Padres are like, damn, that sucks. We owe this guy in front of him $20 million, so we can't play him. Because why wasn't Urias starting at second base the entire time? Who was there? Who was at second base when Urias was there? I don't remember, but they never let him get the playing time he should have gotten. They didn't give Mejia the playing time he should have gotten. They didn't give Patino the starts he should have gotten. They didn't give Quantrill the starts he should have gotten. They didn't give Aswahe got the starts. He just didn't produce. And he didn't have the power I think the Padres were looking for. Mark Loretta, yeah. They give up on their homegrown talent way too quickly. They gave up on Trey Turner way too quickly. I'm still upset about that. Having Trey Turner at second right now and Tatis at short would be amazing. They gave up on Joe Ross pretty quickly, too. He turned out to be a solid starter for the Nationals for a few years. Though the ones that probably hurt the most, Naylor's going to be a star for the Indians. I just have a feeling. Greg Garcia, that's right. How do you not start Luis Urias over Greg Garcia? You know Urias has way more talent than him. Quantrill never got the starts he should have. That one probably hurts the most as of the team right now because Quantrill's been killing it on the Indians. Naylor's going to be a star. It's unfortunate. Naylor was a first baseman, and then they transformed him into an outfielder. He lost a ton of weight, put on speed, and was putting in work in the outfield just so that he can make the roster and put his bat in the lineup. He was a hard worker. I don't think that the type of guy you get rid of. They got rid of him, and he was tagging Garrett Cole up in the playoffs. Yeah, they do develop pitchers. They develop pitchers. Well, Quantrill was already doing pretty good before he left, but yeah, ever since then he's just gotten even better. Man. Who else did we start there? Owen Miller's not doing anything right now, so I'm not too upset about that. We gave up a lot in that trade. But the main ones, even Franmil, man, that Franmil trade hurts. Franmil hit 30 home runs this year. Imagine him at first. Imagine him in left field right now. I don't care if he doesn't have the defense. We could use that 30 home runs. We also traded Logan Allen. We traded Luis Torrens. We traded Ty France. We traded Taylor Trammell. Taylor Trammell hasn't been that good. Ty France, man, that one hurts too. He hit like 290 this year with over 20 home runs. Yeah, we need Clef back. We definitely need Clef back. Hopefully he's back to the player he was before he got hurt. That's my main concern is Tommy John sometimes does not treat certain pitchers well. Yeah, but then again, we have trouble developing. They can do really well in AAA, but they struggle coming up to the major leagues, and that's where our problems hit. Renfroe and Hedges, man, they were MVPs in AAA. They didn't cut it in. There we go. They were nearly MVPs in AAA, but then they came up and they hit. And you can put that on some of the hitting coaches because we didn't have good hitting coaches, and we only had one hitting coach for an entire team, which doesn't work. Clive could be something special. We need him to be something special. Yeah, that's true. Padres pitchers. Which Padres are you talking about? Which one? 2019, we had Machado, Franmil, and Tatis. So Tatis was out for a strong amount of time. Myers had a decent year. I wouldn't count Haas as a decent bat that year. And then I think we had Hedges. So no. Mejia was still struggling. Center fielder. Was that Margot? Or was Margot on the Rays at that time? We had a decent lineup, but it was just no one could put all their potential together with the Padres. Not with the coaching staff that we had. Margot's found himself a nice little career with the Rays. I'm happy for him. Clev, Darvish, Paddock, Lamet, Snell, Musgrove, and Motorhome. I don't think Motorhome's going to be a starter. I think they've seen it where he has a lot of shoulder or elbow problems after he gets to a certain amount of innings. They may let him come back to being a starter after a few years after after he finally matures all the way, his body finishes growing, and so there's no more risk to the elbow or ligaments. Let him build up after a few years, but I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think that was more of an Andy Green problem. Andy Green mistreated players, man. Lamet's going to be in the bullpen. He can't be a starter. I love Lamet. I think he could be a Cy Young pitcher, but his elbow doesn't allow it. He throws way too many sliders for him to be a starter and be successful. He's going to hurt his arm again. He doesn't want to do the whole Tommy John thing again. So let him pitch in the bullpen. Keep his pitch down slow. Let him maybe go 2 innings at a time. The same thing with Motorhone. I think both of them would be great closers. They could be like a Josh Hader-esque type player where they can go multiple innings of absolutely shut down innings. And I think that's what you need. You have 3 guys walking away in free agency, probably fill those 2 spots with Lamet and Motorhone and figure out the rest of your rotation. Because you still have Gore. You have Adrian Martinez, you have Ethan Elliott, you have Bryson. You have these guys that you can develop in the minor leagues, and they can be really good. You just need to give them the chance. I would say Grisham. I think Grisham has overall more talent and more power and the chance to be an absolute superstar. And wherever Margot, he may not have the power. He gets on base a little bit more, and he probably steals a little bit more bases. I would say they're pretty equal on defense, though. Quintana was with the Angels for a little bit, but I think they released him. Yeah, I'd released him, I think, like a month ago, a few weeks ago, something like that. Probably not in that order, but that is probably the starting 5. I want them to do a starting 6 to keep all the guys' arms healthy, but I don't think they'll do that. You really do need to do a 6-man rotation just to keep everyone healthy during a 162 game season. That's it. We traded like both our guys that in the minor leagues could throw 100 miles an hour. We had Munoz, we had Thompson. They're both gone. It was more of a they didn't have a place in the bullpen. As simple as that. They'd rather go with major league talent than try to develop their own. It's just there's a lot of things that have changed from the last 10 years. Warrior can throw 100 too, but reality is he might not be on the roster next year. Gerardo Reyes, but we've seen what we want out of. Wait, no, didn't Reyes get traded? I thought Gerardo Reyes got traded. I think he was in the Indians deal. Oh no, he's playing for the Angels? And he's on the IL. Yeah. Guerra can throw 100, but unless he proves something in these last 10 games where he think he can beat out everybody that's on the IL coming back, I don't think he's going to make the team. God, Cronenworth, man, what is up, man? You're struggling. Cronenworth has been struggling, man. Let's see. That was a pretty good pitch. The Blues have been pretty good with the strike zone tonight. I think that's probably the thing that surprised me the most outside of the Padres actually outscoring a team is the Blues been pretty solid tonight. Or I should say today. Well, also I'd say EJ, a lot of players today throw a lot more balls than they used to. Probably back then. It's all about velocity and off speed. Whereas before you'd have players like Greg Maddux and they would throw 90s, but man, they could get through a game in 90 pitches just because they could locate. Baseball, man, has changed so much. Do you guys think they should get rid of the why would you do that? Do you guys think they need to get rid of the extra inning rule where there's a guy that starts off on second base? I hate that rule. Oh, man. I think it's screwed over the Padres more games than they can win because every time they come up in the bottom of the ninth or bottom of the 10th with a runner on second, they can't get him in. I don't know what it is. He has not hit the Crone zone in a minute. I'm not too upset about the 7th inning doubleheader. I think it could be better, but at the same time, I think the only reason they did the 7-inning doubleheader was so that they can bust out as many games as they could in a 60-game season in case of COVID. This year they probably could have got rid of it, and then they probably should have just done a regular doubleheader. Though I get why they stuck with it because of COVID. We saw how it affected teams at the beginning of the season, so that's understandable. Free agents, I mostly just want a couple bullpen guys. That's it. Maybe one starting pitcher, but I really rather them look towards their guys in the minor leagues and say, hey, we can develop these guys. I want them to prove that they can develop these guys in the minor leagues without trading them all away for a top talent that's already signed a big contract and comes to struggle with us. I'm tired of it. Brandon, I get you. But at the same time, firing easily really helped the problem if the Padres should only sign one hitting coach. They just need more coaches in general. They need more hitting coaches. They need like 5 hitting coaches. They need like 4 pitching coaches. They need probably an infield coach just to deal with defense. Be like, I know what to do with the glove. I know how to fix Tatis and his errors. Hell, we need like a first base coach that can actually help Eric Hosmer pick a ball. Let's see. Come on. If you can get to 6 innings with 2 earned runs, man, that's a great outing for Darvish. We've had a lot of hitting coaches that were just random and probably didn't do the job at all. Mad Max is going to be a free agent, but he's going to want money. And he's only going to go to a contender that might be a World Series team. So you might as well just see him re-signed with the Dodgers for next year. He might take a pay cut just to win a ring because he's at that point in his career. Yeah, Larry's Inter. There's been wasn't Mark McGuire also a hitting coach at one point? That was bad. Like signing A-Rod hitting coach, it just wouldn't work. Wouldn't work out. Who will be the DH? Probably Campusano. Because I think he can throw a profile and left. Maybe Myers, but maybe Nola. Probably between those 3: Profar, Compy, and Myers. Come on, Darvish. Don't struggle this inning. Matt really wants Nelson Cruz, like badly. I know Matt loves Nelson Cruz. He would be a great free agent. If you can get rid of Haas and sign Nelson and maybe one top end reliever, I think that is. It is 4-2 right now, though. The Giants have someone on first. Brandon Belt is up with a 1-0 count in the top of the 6th with no outs. Wow, I haven't heard Edwin Encarnacion in a minute. I like Nelson Cruz more. Matt loves Nelson Cruz. He wants Nelson Cruz a part of this team. The leader is Machado. They need one other veteran guy to be the presence in the dugout. Hosmer's definitely not it. Pham isn't it. Myers isn't it. Frazier's not that guy. You really only have Machado in there because Tingler's not a leader there. You can maybe say Schumacher, but Because Schumacher seems to get more upset and vocal about things than Tingler does. Come on, Darvish. Come on, Darvish. Calm down a little bit. There's a lot of free agents this year. It's just I don't want them to block the guys that have been balling out in the minor leagues that deserve a chance at the major leagues that are just end up being trade bait. I'm not too sure about that, is he? Let me look that up. Yeah, you're right. Her name is Alyssa Natkin. The Giants have found the fountain of youth, and that is true, man. Their vets have had a second wind to their career this year. Yeah, I think they have like 6 hitting coaches. They have like 5 pitching coaches, and it's working. They don't have, the most talent in the world. You look at the Dodgers roster and you think this is the best roster in the MLB, but the Giants have the best record. You can count it to coaching. You can count it to a lot of things. But probably the coaching is the biggest thing because Gausman wasn't the best pitcher before it got to the Giants. Neither was Desclafani. Neither was Logan Webb. Their coaching turned them around. They found these little things that the pitchers changed, and it worked. Hell, their bullpen doesn't even throw the hardest. You have Tyler Rogers out here throwing frisbees across the plate, and it works. And if the Padres don't take a page out of that book, they're never going to win. They need to hire more coaches. They need to be more analytical. They need to take this approach to the game. It works. It's so hard to cheat now after what the Astros did that I don't think they are. I think it's straight clean. If the Phillies somehow make playoffs, I think that's the only thing that hurts his chances at winning MVP. So, best case scenario is the Padres go 2-2 against the Braves. Tatis balls out. It keeps Philly from completely taking over the East. It keeps them out of the wild card. And I think that's the only Tatis wins it. Yeah, Igor. We know playoffs are over. Man, it's been a rough second half of the year. I don't think his team sucking takes him out, but his little outburst in the dugout, him kind of struggling in the outfield, that goes against them. And Harper being on a winning team and kind of taking them to what could be the playoffs might push him out. Oh, okay. What's up, Nathan? The Cardinals are actually, yeah, dude. They came back and put up, I think, 6 in the 7th, the 6th and 7th, and then put up another 1 or 2 in the 8th and 9th. They came back and destroyed the Brewers. I thought we were going to have a chance today. Even if we win today, it doesn't matter because the Cardinals keep winning. The Cardinals keep winning. We can't do anything about it. The Cardinals keep winning. The Padres can win every single game here on out, but the Padres, we're all currently watching the game. I got it on my phone right here. There we go. Oh, why are you taking him out? Oh, he's on 96. Let him finish the inning. This is the perfect spot to use Tim Hilton, though, so I'm not upset. No, I am currently in Arizona. Yeah, my game is like 30 seconds to at least a minute behind. God, man, the Cardinals might just come back and win it all. That's the crazy part. I don't think they're going to take – and I really don't think the Dodgers want to play the Cardinals. I go to U of A. Yeah, I'm in my last year of college. Ugh. It's just a heartbreaker. Dodgers versus Cardinals. I would probably take the Dodgers just because Walker Buehler is having an absolute year. Might win Cy Young. Hell, even if they go Scherzer has been one of the best acquisitions. He's had like a .7 ERA in his past, 5 games. Trey Turner's a beast. They got Betts. Bellinger's had an off year. Then you still have Justin Turner. They still have Muncy. Even their catchers hit pretty well, so I still think the Dodgers would take it over. But if the Cardinals beat the Dodgers, the Cardinals will probably win the World Series. It was no one's fault. Tensions have been building. Everybody's just kind of frustrated. Tingler hasn't done the best job managing. Injuries have hit the Padres hard this year. It's no one's fault, man. It's just been an unfortunate year. Fowler didn't get his guys. The Padres have played disappointing. Guys have underperformed. Managers underperformed. Yeah, dude, I'm just a history major going to U of A. I live near Tucson. That's it. Just wasn't meant to be this year, guys. I hope the Phillies lose too. But if we sweep the Braves all 4 games, I think the Phillies are going to make playoffs. So we have to do just well enough to beat the Braves 2 out of 4 games and then lose the rest so that the Phillies don't make playoffs. I thought that was a home run. I might do my Tingler impression in a video. We'll see. Yeah. I used to be a business major. Tried it. Just wasn't for me. History is much more interesting. Gore definitely has to make a start next season. I don't know if he starts off with the Padres, but he might start after like a month or two. I'd say a month. I've been to one game, and that was back here in Arizona when they're playing the Diamondbacks. When Will Myers had an absolute great game, but Craig Stammen came into the bottom of the ninth and wanted to blow it. So yeah, the one game I've been to, they lost. I was like, okay, that's normally how it goes. Machado definitely deserves it. The only other guy that can probably compare Arenado. It's always kind of been between those two for best defensive shortstop outside of Matt Chapman. Not too much into archaeology, but taking like a class that has archaeology in it. But I've always been more interested in history and astronomy, if anything. Almost switched to astronomy instead of history, but stuck with history. He should win it. Arenado might make a hard case for it, though. Maybe. Hey, congrats, man. Why do I have to see the notification before it happens? This is gonna be a fun one. I had to see the notification first. We'll get right back. Let me look that up. I do not know, actually. Babylon, that makes sense. He died in Babylon, but I had to look that up. Didn't I say it would be the most Padres thing ever for them to blow a good dart to lose the game? I said that at the beginning of the game. Yeah, no, he was right to put Tatis in his place there. I think you need to. You think he needed to do that? Yeah, you're talking about Kevin Kopps, the guy from Arkansas State. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised I haven't called him up. He's probably the most MLB ready prospect to come out of the draft. I don't think we'll fall to fourth. If we fall to fourth, that would be on Tingler. Oh, Jesus, man. God, this is hard to watch. The only reason they say it is because Harper's also having a really special season, and Harper might just be the push that puts the Phillies into the playoffs. He has made quite a few game-saving throws. Man, I hope you're right. I really hope the Padres come back and win. I can't watch this, man. This is hard to watch. And I also said it would be the most Padres thing ever for them to absolutely get shut out after the first inning. You were here for all that, Padres, all the way. Yeah, basically, we got a couple walks and a hit by pitch. And then Kim and Caratini, out of all people, hit some RBI singles. Mm-hmm. Tingler sacked in the morning. Oh, man, I would wake up and be the happiest person alive for a day if Tingler was disappeared. I can't answer that question. They're both good friends of mine. I've known Matt longer, though. I've known Matt since pre-K. We went to the same pre-K together. And then I just talked to him more in middle school. Isaac, I knew since middle school, but became really good friends with him in high school. I've known both of them for a long time, though. They're the only like Padres fans that I really knew in my hometown. Blame Tingler, man. Every time I think Tingler can't do anything stupider, he manages to surprise me. No, I am from the Coachella Valley, my friend. I am from the Coachella Valley from Southern California. Yeah, we try to stay on top of everything as much as we can. Sometimes it's hard getting a reporter out with some of the information we have. Strom's just always hurt. That's the problem. Strom, man, he's such a good pitcher, but he keeps having problems with his knees. Yeah, that's where I'm originally from, is Indio, ironically. I might know your family then. I used to live in Indio. I lived in Indio most of my life. But man, it's so Strom just keeps having, I think it's his right knee. It's his landing knee. I don't know what he does with his mechanics or what he does when he lands on the mound. He just kills his knee. Who's pitching right now? Oh, Quintana still. Yeah, I'm a fan of burgers and beer. Wasn't my go-to place, but I do like burgers and beer. They have some pretty good food there. Yeah, man, it's when your two best left are always hurt. It's one of those things that's really hard to just. It's really hard to rely on one lefty the entire time. Yeah, Tim Hill gave up a 3-run shot to Austin Slater. Barely went out of the left field wall. And now we're climbing back. What are you swinging at, Hosmer? Jesus Christ. Hey, man. I can't watch Hosmer anymore, man. He makes me so upset. It's the same old thing with Hosmer, dude. Every single time, it's a ground out to first or second base. I love Adrian Gonzalez, man. I have a lot of love for that guy. Him, Jake Peavy, and Khalil Green. Probably 3 of my all-time favorite Padres, just because I grew up with them. I was a kid going to Petco Park like at 8 years old, watching Adrian Gonzalez, Khalil Green, and Jake Peavy absolutely ball out. It's one of my best memories. And Kevin Kuzmanov. Oh, man. Love those guys. And fly out. I was upset when he got traded to the Red Sox. And then when he eventually ended up on the Dodgers, though, I was like, man, I really like Adrian Gonzalez. He kills us, dude. One of my favorite things that he did against us, like, I still like Adrian Gonzalez, but he killed us to the point where I remember him hitting 6 home runs in a row against the Padres. Chase Headley, too. Love Chase Headley. I remember when we had like Tadahito Iguchi at second. Chase Headley was on the bench for Kevin Kuzmanov. See, I liked him as a player, though. I didn't care that he was on the Dodgers. It hurt to see him on the Dodgers. He killed us when he was on the Dodgers, though, man. It was hard to watch. It's like he was getting revenge for us trading him away to the Red Sox. Chris Young, Trevor Hoffman, Heath Bell. I have a Brian Giles jersey somewhere. Ryan Schimpf. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, he was home run or bust. CJ Abrams. I mentioned earlier. I don't think he gets called up until like a month or two after season starts. He will probably start off at second base. That's if they trade Hosmer. If they trade Hosmer, Cronenworth can move to second. Frazier can do what he's doing today and play left field, and then you can slot Abrams into that second base spot. I feel like that would be the best way to introduce Abrams. Keep him in the middle infield. You don't want to put him in the outfield. I like him in the outfield, but he hasn't really. Hey, Grish! Oh, dude, I'm behind too. Yeah, I'm way behind. Oh my god, I haven't even seen the home run yet. I just saw Grish almost take the head. The Hosmer. Hosmer, the most disappointing Padre this season. I don't think you can say. I think it's Pham. Yeah, this is Pham's last year. You don't resign him. You let him walk. You let him walk. You do not need Pham. You already have a crowded infield, and you have a in the infield that can play left field and Frazier. Get rid of Pham. What did Kim do? Oh my god, I'm so behind. Kim! Hey. I'm so far behind. I still haven't seen the Kim home run yet. This is upsetting. I want to see it. Oh my god. Love this man. He needs more starts. They should just let Kim start the rest of the season, honestly. The season's over. Let him just run with it. Oh my god, man. You gotta let Kim start the rest of the season. 2 for 3 with the home run. That deserves another start. Sit Hosmer for the rest of the season, man. He doesn't deserve it. Let him the rest of the season. Oh my god, everyone looks so happy when Kim does something. Yeah, dude, you were right. You said we're still in this. I didn't like the Hosmer signing from the beginning, so I am biased towards that. I never wanted Hosmer on the Padres because Will Myers was the first baseman. You had a perfectly good first baseman in Will Myers. He played Gold Glove base. He was carrying a team that was probably one of the worst teams in Padres history. And then you took him of his spot and robbed him. And dude, I just don't understand why you have a successful first baseman in Will Myers. You had a first baseman that can steal and hit home runs at a high clip, and you sign Eric Hosmer, who can't steal, plays worse defense, and doesn't hit as many home runs. You could have signed JD Martinez in an outfielder. That's why I was upset. And plus, he didn't deserve that money. I keep saying that too. Like I said, Kim should start the rest of the season. Sit whoever needs to be sat. Don't let him do anything stupid at the end of the season. The season's over. As much as you don't want it to be. Dude, that must have been crazy to see. I love Kim, man. Kim very well might be able to play that left field spot, but I think they think his defense is way too valuable in the infield. That's my thing. I think that's what they were planning on doing is moving him to the outfield, but what he's shown on defense for the infield is way too good to move. My biggest flex is I was at the Padres game where James Shield gave up a home run to Bartolo Colon. That was funny to watch. That was funny to watch. I used to have a video of it. I think I did it though. I don't know if I still have it. I'll have to see. I swear to God, if they disappoint me, I wouldn't be surprised. Zach Little comes in to relieve Jose Quintana. Dude, Kim's defense is just outstanding, man. Oh, can't take away his defense, dude. He's so valuable on defense. Yeah, I would say right around then. Maybe the end of July, because I think that's when all the pitchers went out too at once, and you're just like, we don't have anyone to pitch, and we faced the Dodgers. And then it just got progressively worse from there. Darvish was a shell of himself. He got hurt. Snell started to do good. Paddock was doing. That's when Paddock had his oblique injury. Musgrove, I think, was going through a little struggle then. Yeah. Ever since the end of July, beginning of August, it's been It's been bad. I will scream that all day, Jerry. Kim for second base, man. Cronenworth for first, Kim for second. Keep Tatis at short. That would be legendary. That would be like Gold Glove defense across the entire infield. Let me check that for you, Izzy. He is currently the bench coach for the Red Sox still, yes. He was also a coach for the Cubs at one point. I rather, yeah. I that's why I'm like Abrams needs to go to the outfield, but they look pretty confident with Abrams being in the middle infielder. I would love CJ in left, but it looks like they want him to be a middle infielder the whole way around. So with that, I think you can move. So I think he's going to get called up right at the beginning of the season either. So you can let Kim play second and get starts in left field if he really wants to play. I still think he could play a really solid left field. And then he can be that utility guy that Profar is. He can play DH. He'd still get a lot of reps just because one Pham would be gone. If you trade Hosmer, that just opens up more for him to play. There's just a lot. There's so much you could do in every position. DH opens up so much more. And you know what? They might even not just start Abrams right away. They could just start him at DH just so he can see pitch or MLB pitching every day. And that might be the best way to ease him in so he doesn't have to focus so much on defense. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that energy. It just shattered, disappeared. It was crazy. It was bad. Manny's not going to be done for what, another 8 years? No, this is his third year, so 7 years. We got Manny for a long time. It would be great to see Kim on the team for that long, but I don't think Kim stays that long. Unless there's a starting spot for him, I don't think he stays that long. I would love Kim to stay that long, but I think Kim wants to start. I don't think he just wants to be a bench utility piece. I think he wants to prove that he can be a starting shortstop or a starting second baseman anywhere in the league. And he deserves that. He's really talented. If he takes us to a World Series, you can use that swag train as an ashtray. Hey, man, Justin Turner is still playing some really solid third base. What, Justin Turner's 30-something. He's pretty close to 40. And he still plays some really good third base. Justin Turner's 36. And he plays really good third base still, so usually they consider your prime like 27 to 32, 33. I know what you're saying, man. It's just, I don't know if Kim is going to stay around for another 6 years, man. I think he wants to start. If they open a spot for him, I'd love him to stay the entirety of Tatis's and Machado's career. The fact that you said never mind kind of makes it seem like this inning is going to end right now, huh? It was a 4-year. I think it was 4-year, 26. Let me check that for you guys real quick. It was 4-year, 28 million. Four-year, 28. Grand slams are hard to come by. Padres, even though they as much as they do, there's still something that are pretty rare to come by. Let's see. Let's see what else is happening in the baseball world right now. We're against the Giants. Dodgers and Rockies are actually tied going into the 9th. Oh no, the Rockies might walk off. Who's up? Rogers. Who's Rogers? Nationals Reds just started. Phillies and Pirates are currently in warm-up. Let's look at this Dodgers game. I do want to see it. Dude, I think you're forgetting. Myers is one of the best hitters to start off a season. It's usually the second half of the season he slumps. You want him in the lineup at the first 30 games a season. And then after that, you may be able to platoon him. But you don't take out for the first 30 games of the season. He's way too good at the beginning of the season to sit. Hosmer is way more likely to be shipped. His contract's worse. He's not the leader that they say he is. His glove is worse. His speed is worse. He has a better average, and that's about it for. That is true. We do get a lot of opportunities, but think about it. We have a lot of guys who can get on base at the beginning of the lineup, but then Preller puts Frazier, Pham, and then someone else 6. Frazier can't hit a ball out of the infield. Pham can't hit in the 5 spot, and whoever's in the 6 spot usually is left with no sac fly opportunity. So when we do get bases loaded opportunities, we either have like Hosmer come up and hit a ground ball to second. Frazier, for some reason, is hitting 4 or 5 and grounds out. Yeah. Like I said, the Padres need more coaching more than anything. Tingler's a problem, but a lack of coaching is way worse than anything that they're going through right now. What do you guys think about Pierce? I've always been really high on Pierce Johnson. I think he's a good pitcher. I think he's a little inconsistent. He's wild at times, and that really hurts him. But I still think he's a pretty solid guy. He's getting old. His power is not there anymore. Izzy, that is exactly my point. Ken Caminetti was our cleanup hitter, and now it's Adam Frazier. I don't even know. Adam Frazier needs to be leading off games, not be hitting cleanup. He gets a lot of hits, but he barely gets it out of the infield. Oh. I really hope it's not Hudson. Hudson will blow this game for us. Maybe Lamet, maybe. It was looking like Hudson. It's not Austin Adams, I can tell you that. If it's Austin Adams, then Tinkler has lost his mind. Lamet pitched yesterday, so they probably won't throw him today. Probably won't be Pagan. Guerrero struggled yesterday. Oh, whoops. So far, I have Hill and Johnson. So that leaves Adams, that leaves Pagan, maybe Lamet. Is this the throw? I don't think Lamet starts anymore. His elbow is way too delicate to start. I think Lamet needs to be a closer. So we have Adams left, we got Hudson left, and we have either Lamet and Melanson left. I really don't want to see Pagan in the 8th inning. I don't want to see Adams. I'd rather see Lamet. You know what? That would be really interesting to see. I feel like he might do both. He might play infield and outfield just for that reason. He's a really good hitter, and the Padres might be like, hey, we can't. There's already kind of a stopgap there. If you want to stay in the system and you want to play in the majors for this team, you might have to switch to the outfield. And if he becomes a utility player, he might just make it up to the majors within the next 2 years. Ooh, I thought he went on that second pitch, though. Oh, well. I'm guessing he ties it up after the 1-1 count. I think if Myers is in right field, he makes that throw to second, and no one's on set there. Yeah, that was a double all the way. Yep. Lamont Wade Jr. is a stud. It's not a bad pitch. He set him up pretty. He's trying to change the eye level. If you're going to throw a fastball high like that, though, you needed to give it above the zone by a good inch or two. He just threw it at the top of the zone. He needs to get it a little higher if he wants to throw that pitch. You just want him to break the record more, huh? At least you'll have a record for something. I've thought about Hoffman. I've heard he's a really nice guy. I think Tatis is fine. It's just the Giants are shutting him down. There's not much he can do. Dude, I swear to God, all Adams does is he throws that pitch and just prays to God it goes across the plate. That's the only thing I can think Austin Adams does. Every time he throws the slider, he's just like, all right, let's hope it goes across the plate. That's a pretty good one, Steve. Oh, that one hurt. Yeah. Especially with Adams. It's just slider, slider, slider. There we go. God, that's unfortunate, man. The Padres haven't been scoring. Adams has potential. He struggles locating. That's it. If you don't throw him in a clean inning, you're not using him the right way because he needs to be able to either walk one batter or hit two. He just needs to locate. And I think with reps, he might be better next year. Who knows? We traded him for the potential that he could have, and he just hasn't lived up to that potential. Jose Alvarez. Oh no. No, that's not the guy I'm thinking of, right? They did the same thing with Victor Gonzalez, man. I like Victor on the Dodgers. They take these guys and they do pretty good. Yeah, that's basically Austin Adams. He just doesn't throw 100. We have Guerra right now. Um, Guys with movement on their two seamer. John has some movement, but right now it's been pretty flat. Paddock had movement before. It's just Paddock works better with a straight fastball. Pagan throws a four seamer that's flatter than a pancake. Him's fast flat. Lamet's is pretty flat. Stanman throws a pretty good two seamer. But other than that, that's really much it. You're pretty accurate in that case. Paddock's curveball has a pretty good movement to it. Snell has a lot of movement that goes down and in. That's why he threw the changeup. Wanted something that went away from a right-handed hitter. But the problem is that his changeup was just being really ineffective. Both his slider and curveball were way more effective. We sort of called that on the podcast a while ago before he banished the changeup into the shadow realm. Hey, let's not hit him. Musgrove throws a nice little cutter. But you don't necessarily need a starter with crazy movement like Trinan. You need guys like the Met has crazy movement, but Chris Paddock doesn't always have crazy movement. But when he pitches effectively, and I think that's more important than having movement on your pitches. You need pitchers that can throw a strike when they need to and can get ground balls when they need to. Paddock does that well. Paddock can go 6 innings in like 70 pitches. All our other guys in 60 pitches will only go between 4 and sometimes 3 innings because they're so wild that their flat fastball, if they locate that and their off speed doesn't hit the plate to save their life because it moves a lot, it doesn't do anything. What did Hosmer do? I'm behind. Did he ground into a double play? Did Tatis walk and Hosmer ground into a double play? That's what I'm assuming. Not yet? Okay. Tatis just got walked on for me. Productive out? Okay. Spring training is such a conflicting thing because you can have spring training legends, rookies that have a great spring training, and they still get sent home early because they knew they weren't going to make the team. Yeah, minus the double play. It was almost a double play. Could have very well been a double play if the ball was hit a little more center. He did try to ground into a double play. Did the Rockies win it or did they? No, Dodgers put up 2 in the 10th. We got Story versus Trinan in the bottom of the 10th. Derek Norris was a great catcher. Come on, Profar. You always got a good plate or good approach at the plate. Come on. Damn, just foul. See, this is where the Padres struggle, man. Anytime they get a tie game where they go down, they don't have the fight to come back all the time. Or when they do come back, their bullpen freaking blows it. If Pagan comes in or Stammen comes in, man, it's like kissing the game goodbye. They probably walk him to get to Grish. They're going to hope for the double play. Dustin May's stuff moves way too much, man. That two-seamer scares me. That's how it usually is for me, man. Sundays I work in the morning, so I never get to see the Sunday games. I usually just to come back. Isaac and Matt will record a couple episodes, and then I'll see that we either won or lost. All right, that was a good pitch. I'm still upset about that to this day, man. So we had Luis Castillo, dude. We had him. But the problem is that Colin Ray got hurt and the Padres had withheld information or weren't taking down notes that Colin Ray was taking ibuprofen because of elbow inflammation. So when he tore his UCL 2 to 3 starts in for the Marlins, they called out Preller for tampering and got Luis Castillo back. We still kept Jose Castillo and Josh Naylor, though. They wanted Luis Castillo back. And then Luis Castillo ended up being traded to the Reds for who? JT Realmuto. No, who was it? Who did they trade to the Reds? Peace out, man. Having Luis Castillo under Darren Balsley would have been like the greatest thing ever, man. His Cy Young year, he would have repeated Cy Young years. But no, we basically traded a hurt pitcher to the Marlins and then lost him, and then had the same thing happen to us with the Clev deal. Um, Ari, I gotta tell you, I don't think he gets canned. I want him to, but I don't think he does. It's just one of those things where the ownership said it's all up to Preller if Tingler gets canned or not, and I don't think he does. Grish is still at bat. For me, it's an 0-2 count with 1 out. I'm guessing he grounded into a double play by some of y'all's reactions, or he struck out. Yeah, strikeout. That's a good pitch. That's a good pitch, though. Why are they switching pitchers? Who's that? If Kim is our hero today, man, that's all the more reason you should start the rest of the season and have Hosmer sit to the season. Keep Fourth up first, put Kim at second or short, and just let him hit. Let him develop. The season's over. Let him continue to face these high caliber pitchers to help him with his development. They really rather go righty on righty for Kim, huh? Don't get that. All right. Who's up right now? Castro. All right. Oh, wow. He just got called up then. This is perfect for Kim then, man. Let him face a kid who just came up. Or not necessarily kid, but let him face a guy who just came up. Come on, Kim. That's not encouraging to see. Still tied, huh? So 2 for 4 is not a bad slash line for a guy who doesn't really see playing time against one of the best teams in baseball. That's a pretty good slash line. He missed his pitch and he knew it. That's what I keep saying, man. You gotta let him play these last few games, man. He deserves it. You can tell he wants it. He still almost beat that out. Oh no, Daniel Hudson's coming in. Oh no. What about Dietrich? Did I miss something? Do you guys think Daniel Hudson has a clean inning, or you think he struggles like he has been? I don't know what to think about Daniel Hudson at all. Yeah, we know that one in Colorado in the top of the 10th. Yeah, I know, Daniel. I know. That's why I really wish. That's why I was so against Tingler in the first place. He kept hiring people from his Rangers organization. Yeah, they did a great job at building up the farm system, but man, they do not know how to run a team. They have a great eye for talent. They have a phenomenal eye for finding out all of these amazing players that teams probably would have looked away from. Their drafts have been pretty good. But my God, they don't know how to manage a baseball team. They have an eye for talent, but man, they can't develop players either. What is that, like a 130 average, 1 for 7? Or 3 for 21? Oh, yeah. We definitely know how to do that. 1-on-1. Dude. I do not trust Daniel Hudson on the mound. That's what we assumed. That's what we're kind of assuming was the sticky stuff. We've also chalked it up to multiple injuries, and we know he dealt with, I think, a little bit of elbow. He dealt with lower back stuff. Lower back for an older pitcher really can hurt them. We've seen it with Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. Lower back stuff is really not good for an older pitcher. But ever since the sticky substance ban is when he really fell off. So I think it's a combination of those two things, but mostly the sticky stuff. I've been saying that for a minute, ever since September came up. And Daniel, I agree with you 100%. I've been wanting them to do that since September started, because I sort of figured, or even in August, we were down to like 3 pitchers in August where you could have had Weathers and Kinnear just start regularly. I wouldn't have put Weather back then because we were still more in the playoff race than we are now. But Weathers would have been a great, hey, Kinnear go 5-6 innings, Weathers go 2 to 3 type deal. Campy should have been starting for a while now. Yeah, I like Mason Thompson. I really like Mason Thompson. But it seems like the flamethrowers that we have, they just like to get rid of them. They like to trade them away for other pitchers. I don't know if it's because they didn't trust him or they didn't feel like they could develop him. He never really got the shot that he should have gotten. He got like 1 or 2 innings and they sent him down even though he was on the team for like 2 weeks. I would credit that to Bauer and a couple other things. Anytime there was blatant cheating, including sticky stuff, you get smeared all over. Well, no, his slider today looked pretty good, but he hung a few. He's been hanging his slider more too. That's the only other thing I've noticed. His cutter and slider have suffered the most. His fastball, his two-seamer doesn't have as much movement as it used to. And because all those other pitches have sort of lacked, his fastball is just more hittable, and that's where he's been struggling, in my opinion. Today, he hung a slider up to Yastrzemski, and he took it down. It was like straight down the middle, and he took it out. So Carter Capps, when he was on the Padres, just was flat out not good. Ever since he had Tommy John, he lost the velocity. He sort of lost his location, and he lost his off speed. And since they implemented the rule because of him that your foot has to stay in contact with the ground, he sort of just disappeared after that. That's where I'm at too, Daniel. He can, I wouldn't even say day to day. Roster transaction players. He does need something to do with player development. I think AJ just might need to step down and go back to scouting and have major say in draft and in trading. But I do not think he needs to handle the day-to-day. He does not need to be the final say-so in trades. He needs to go out and find more people to sign, more people to draft. And I think that's where his strong suit lies as a GM. He does really good at drafts. He does really good at the international draft. He has a lot of good international free signings. It's more where he trades the farm for already given talent. Exactly. That's exactly. I don't know why Kevin Kopps hasn't been called up yet. I thought he would have been called up earlier. We were saying he was the most likely candidate to get through or go from the being drafted to the MLB roster. He was that ready. So I don't see if you've heard of it. When the USA team went to go play in the Olympics, they used the Japanese professional baseballs, and all of the pitchers loved them. They're a little more tackier. They're shaped a little different, or they're the same shape. They're a little tackier. The seams are a little better, and I think the only difference is the ball might be a little smaller and weigh a little less. But so far from what I've seen, all the pitchers from the USA team loved them. When Darvish played the Reds, he had bought some and brought them out to the field, and all the players liked him. Like all the pitchers loved him too. Yeah, and Darvish has been a big activist towards, hey, we need to use these baseballs because all the pitchers love that. Hey, there we go, Hudson. Wow, that was actually a pretty solid inning. Well, yeah, it does. It being a little lighter also has to do something with it. But if you can keep the same size and the same weight for the baseball, but change it to be tackier and maybe have the same seams, then I think you could pull it off pretty well, because that way it doesn't change shape of the ball that pitchers have been using all their life. But hey, I think it would be a good thing. I'd probably go Wade right now. Brandon Belt has been pretty clutch too. So in late innings, I'm pretty fearful of Brandon Belt. But other than that, I'd probably go Wade. I will look that up right now. I don't know either. Looks like he signed from Minnesota. A trade for Sean Anderson from the Twins. I would attribute it to that, Izzy. Yeah. A lot of pitchers lost the grip that they had on the ball with the sticky stuff. Like Tyler Glasnow said, he used sunscreen and rosin to help grip on the ball, and it wasn't even like spider tack or anything to help mostly ball and location. And when he lost that, the ball became a lot more slicker. He didn't necessarily know where it was going at all times, and he had to grip the ball tighter so that it didn't slip. And since he doesn't have that grip anymore, I would assume that, yeah, the balls slip probably a lot more, and batters are going to get hit a lot more. From mostly fastballs. The off speed is probably just because the pitcher threw it wrong. We've seen it from Darvish today, man. When he tried to throw a couple of those two-seamers, they just completely sailed on him because he probably didn't have the right grip. Just thank God it was a lefty up and not a righty, because it would have been nailed in the head otherwise. Who are they going to pinch hit here? Daniel, that's probably right. The batters are against pitchers using stuff like spider tack. They would be against stuff like spider tack, where it obviously causes a pitcher to have a severe jump in spin rate and stuff like that. I would assume it would be against stuff like pine tar, but stuff like rosin and sunscreen that just help the pitcher grip the ball better, I don't think they would have a problem with that. And Steve is right. Tyler Glasnow was also talking about having to grip the ball tighter caused him to, what he felt like caused him to hurt his elbow. Because you're flexing your forearm more than you would normally. Daniel's 100% right too. I hate pitchers that are wild. If they can just throw all over the place, then randomly throw a strike, I don't know what they're going to throw next because I'm expecting a wild pitch. And I feel like most hitters would probably feel that way too. I feel like they are more confident when a pitcher's hit strike zone that they can freely swing and not necessarily anticipate one to the head at the same time. Wow, that curveball fooled Machado all the way. Yeah. Oh no! Why do you pinch hit Marisnik here, man? They traded Marisnik to hit lefties because he hits righties at an abysmal clip. He's supposed to be a lefty specialist who's good at defense, and you hit him against a righty. Who's he facing though? Let me see. Let me see who he's facing. Oops. Who did the Giants finish off with at the top of the 8th? Ended up being Longoria. So they got Yastrzemski, Caselli, and I do think it depends on if Yastrzemski gets a hit. I would say yes and no, Daniel. They also might be more at a disadvantage because of the surgery that they had and having less grip on the ball. They say that location is the last thing back for someone that has had Tommy John surgery. Watch, Tingler's gonna come out and say, "Why did you pinch hit Marisnik right there? Why didn't you let Frazier battle against the righty? You know, Marisnik is good against lefties, and he goes, I like the way he's been swinging it lately. Yeah, trust me, I know I used to pitch. Oh, still feel the elbow pains every now and again. Melanson scares me though, just because ever since the sort of sicky stuff banned, he has been getting hit a lot harder than normal. Yeah, the way Tommy John has changed is definitely. Before it used to be something that could be career ending. Now it's just, okay, you miss a year and a half, and you're back to normal. And if not, throwing harder than ever. Yeah, I gotta admit, Matt, Isaac, and I were wrong about Pagan. When we first traded for Pagan, we were like, yeah, we got this superstar closer, and then it went downhill. Yeah, but they throw 50 passes, let's say 50 at the max, once a week. These guys throw baseball hundreds of times, sometimes within 2 weeks. Are you betting against the Padres, Borna? Is that what's going on? I needed a Padres loss yesterday too, but they went over my over, so I was like, well, I lost it. Now I hope the Padres come back. They didn't. That too. Oh my god. They would have to lose like almost every game to get under 500 now. Or is it like 10 games left? Oh no, damn. They need to lose every game to go under the Rockies. That's what I was thinking. You think the Texans are gonna win? Ooh. I don't know, man. Come on, Shark. He moved to New York. Come on. Wait. I'm a 49ers fan. And so is Matt. Matt does another podcast based off the 49ers called Nuggets of Gold. Isaac is the Chargers fan of our group. No, he's already graduated. He just finished up. I think he just moved just because. Oh boy, Shark. That's kind of what I'm going with it right now, Daniel. I don't think the Dodgers want to play Cardinals in playoffs. Come on. Wait. Don't say Solano bomb incoming. That was an amazing pitch on the corner. Come on. You're fine. The Cardinals are just magical, man. They made a deal with the Kukui. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Dude, it feels like the Cardinals are never going to lose again. Honestly, I thought that they were going to lose when they were down, 5-0 against the Brewers. I checked it. I'm like, Brewers are doing their job. Then as soon as the Giants hit like a 2-run shot, I went to go check the score again. And it was like, oh, they scored 7 straight. And then I checked it again, and they scored another one. The Brewers aren't looking too good right now, but they're too good of a team to lose in the playoffs, I think. At least the first round of playoffs. The Brewers got Burns, they got Freddie Peralta, they got Brandon Woodruff. They have the perfect rotation for a playoff run. It's whether or not the offense does anything for them. Oh my God, Haas picked the ball. That was good. Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer is a Dodger killer. Outside of being a Dodger killer, I do not consider him that great of a pitcher. Yeah, but see, as much as I agree with that, I do not agree with that. We've seen a lot of teams come out from the wild card spot because they have to fight through the entire season. The moment you start taking guys out and resting, you kind of lose that fight. That's my opinion. That's why I think wild card teams are at a severe advantage. They're always fighting towards something. That's why the Nationals won it that year. That's why the Giants won it freaking like 3 times in series, and that's why the Royals won it that one year. They were all wild card teams. I got theirs. I think CMC is going to run crazy today. I'm hoping not. I'm playing against him in fantasy right now, so I was like, I'm conflicted. I'm hoping we hit a walk-off. Robbie Anderson or Henry Ruggs? Who do the Raiders play this week? Who do the Raiders play this week? I don't think I have a Raider. I would probably go Ruggs. Is Jacob still out? Anderson has to split between CMC and DJ Moore, and DJ Moore I think is the definite number one in that offense, and then any goal line work is going to go straight to CMC. So I think Henry Ruggs is the safe option there, and Derek Carr pass heavy. So, and outside of come on, Tatis, if you want to be MVP, you got to walk it off right here. No, hitting gappers and Petco is actually really hard. You have to hit it on the live. You can't leave it in the air. That and your scrim sheet is also just really, really fast. Oh, did Haas end it? What did Haas do? Why are you commenting? Oh, double. Okay. I was like, please. Yeah, if you want a double, you have to usually hit it down the line. Oh, come on. Oh, don't worry, we're still here, Daniel. A single could edit, man. We need a single. Come on, Profar. I'm so far behind. Yeah, I'm so far behind. An even year player. Damn, we might just have to screenshot that and be like, Steve Solid. We shall see. I needed that there. Come on. "2018 makes your statement false." 2018 Hosmer was pretty bad. That's what I'm hoping for too. I think the Brewers might. If I had to pick a team going to the World Series from the NL, I think it's the Brewers. I hope that's a recipe for a World Series. That just means we have to get rid of Tingler. Come on, Profar. You can do it, man. Get your pitch and rip it. My ideal lineup would be probably Grish, Cronenworth, Machado, Tatis, Nola, Campy hitting sixth, DHing, Myers, Profar batting ninth, and who am I missing? Nola hitting eighth? No, I said Nola fifth. What position am I missing? Oh, Frazier hitting eighth, probably something like that. Either Frazier or Profar hitting eighth and ninth, because it kind of creates like a three leadoffs type of thing. So like we're in extra innings baseball. I do not know about the Kiermaier Kirk situation. All right, guys. Well, all right, guys. Unfortunately, I gotta go, so I gotta end the live stream. Thank y'all for being with me. It's been a crazy nearly 4 hours. We might do this again. We'll probably just end up doing random live streams throughout the off season. Probably just stuff with fantasy and everything. Hope it's a tied game right now, going into the 10th. So we'll see. Later, guys. It's been fun. Thank you all for listening.